Then, of course, the other main area we're working on is literacy. So with literacy, I'd advise you to use part of the transcript, the dialogue in the film. You don't need to use the whole dialogue. It will probably be far too much for a beginner reader, but just very short sections of it, or just, a few words, one line. Take out one of the words, for example, and ask students to listen and put in the missing word. And they could have the word supplied on a card that they then put into the missed space. Things like jumbled sentence. So you take the words in one of the sentences, cut up the words, and then the learner hears the sentence and reassembles the sentence. So this is using the whole word approach, recognizing whole words and reforming the sentence. So for beginner readers, this is a really good activity to develop whole word recognition. You could also give learners just a very short bit of the dialogue written down and read it slowly with them as they hear that particular line. So there are lots of things you can do around listening and reading. And so listening and reading are very, very good practice for building up literacy skills, because we're looking at the links between hearing the language, seeing the language, and recognizing the words and the sounds of the language with the words. So as well as reordering words to form sentences, another thing you can do, and I'm sure you already do, is picture word matching. So things like this. And obviously these can be done remotely as well if you're through using video. And moving on from this, of course, you can use these words for phonics, work on phonics, and drawing the phonics out of the words. So for example, the word bin. And you need to demonstrate with the learners, you need to model the sounds for the learners. So learners may say, yes, this is a letter B, but they need to learn the sound of the letter. So B, I, N. And then they need to blend B, in, bin. And so they need to practice seeing those individual letters and sounds and putting them together. So you can also use things like the first letter of the word and showing them the picture, different pictures, and they have to identify that B is for bin and not caddy, for example. And then you can have things like individual letters, sounds, the sounds put on individual cards that they put together to make words. And they can do this remotely, or you can do it and hold them up and show them and practice. So for example, if they know the B for bin, you can then work on B for brown. And this is a little more difficult. So when they can identify the whole word, they can identify the colour and the brown bin, you can then look at the phonics within this. So you show them B, R, ow, N. Now it's important to realise here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, but only 4 sounds, and learners need to learn that the OW is the ow sound. And so practicing brown, putting it all together, and then asking what other words they know that end in ow. They may know the words now, how. So words that they know and can say, those are the ones to work on with phonics. So you can help learners develop their spelling using phonics and whole word and different techniques, but using things like the magnetic letters, magnetic whiteboards, mini whiteboards, and you can move letters around so they can see B, ox, box, but in, bin. And then for something like caddy, knowing that the letter C is pronounced K in many cases, K, and you can move them and encourage them to move them, and they can see the double D actually makes one sound. So again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, but 4 sounds. And activities where you say a word or they see a word and they have to identify how many sounds it is rather than the number of letters. So all of these kind of activities will help to improve their literacy and spelling. Another really useful technique for spelling is the look, say, cover, write check. And you can find a template for that in the New to ESOL guide and template material pack. But some words will be more difficult to do phonically. For example, recycle. That's quite a difficult word to spell. And after having learnt the letter C is pronounced K, as in caddy, they then see the letter C in cycle, which is pronounced. So yeah, it can be confusing, but as we know, English spelling is not easy. Another sound that's worth focusing on in the film, apart from the B for bin and blue and brown and black, is the vowel A, the short A sound. Sound in bag, black, nappy, plastic, caddy. So that short A sound is an important one, and often learners find it quite difficult to hear it or pronounce it or know how to spell it. The other short sound I in, bin, that's another one that's worth focusing on too. And there are lots of words, short words with that I sound in them. The long E sound in green and free, that's another one that's worth focusing on, the double E for the E sound. And again, ask learners what other words they know that have that sound spelling pattern. And they'll know words like see or free. So it's worth exploring other words they know with the same sound spelling patterns. Well, thank you very much for watching this film, and I hope you found it useful and enjoy using the film with your learners.